occupational health and safety of the employees of Physical Plant Office of Xavier University, Ateneo de Cagayan.
In today's episode, we're going to tackle about the nature of the work of the employees, their responsibilities, the potential hazards in the workplace environment, and the precautions being employed in the workplace environment.
So, there we go.
So come and follow us. So we're now here in the Physical Plant Office.
And we're going to interview some of the employees as well as check out their environmental status in the workplace. So, shall we
Let's
go? Sir, actually, tanda kung
Oh, kini sa gamitan na ni kaning mo taon mo scaffolding ano sa kaulon. Kani mo na sa ibakos para sulti nga di ka matagal ka nga pero dili na yung kumpitan nga kay naman ni siya. Hindi mo siya.
discussion gamit eh.
Wala. Wala yun.
Ikaw, taas na kayo.
Kini kung nami ko nga pero sa mga mga basura mga kuan ano mo mga gamiton o kaning mag-welding para dili malagsikan o mga plug daw nila sa gloves niya ni.
Siguro na yung gamit ito. Kanalang, pati po itong kani helmet.
Kini kay depende sa may kung may matagat niya nga mga pagpaw ng kahoy dili na kapit siya nga madapat sa ulo. Dili na. Minsan po magkat ng kahoy na, magtago ng kahoy. Kasi yan, ginapisan niya, dili maka-iko sa ibang mata, di makalaos. Kaya kung maglabas niyo mo na wala kay, wala kay mas class ni, hindi ko yung mata. Wala, kasi kayo noon.
Wala po yung kanang kwan sir, kanang jacket.
Sa building, sa building, no? Ang building na gamit na.
Welding in front. So far, wala na discussion gamit. Gamit po mga PPE.
Wala na yun. Kasi wala man sa dito. Wala man sa dito.
Na-inform ko na isa ka sa mga plumber din. So pwede minimum yan sir kung sa'y interest in trabaho arrest.
Ang pag-return sa mga kwan, mga CR.
CR. So far sir, sa'yo na-encuentro nga mga disgrasya or mga disadvantages, alam ito, imayan na pangitabuhay ka ng trabaho mo, grabe. Kana itong maka-apekto dito sa inyo.
Wala man.
Wala? So kung wala mo nakuha nga sakit ka ng mag-ayaw.
Wala.
Wala po, infection, wala.
Masukad wala man.
Nasukad.
Eh, nagamit man po yung mga guantes.
Para sa naong, pagdili mag-splash ang mga hugaw sa tubig. Gagawin mo yan. Wala sukad. Sa panlawas sir, para hindi mo ma-contaminate sa kanyang mga hugaw sa tubig. Hindi mo magagamit na lang.
Wala po yung kwan.
Sa guantes lang yung gamit.
So may mga examples sir na inyo nila para
Example is suga, especially kita suga. Mga classroom, may mga outlets nga mga damage bitaw. May mga wire nga nangagita, may mga electric fans, may mga aircon.
Pag magtrabaho mo sir, unsa may imong mga suot ana para bitaw maprotektahan imong skin?
Number one yun, labi na mga electrical, labi na mga type na siya. Before may mo kuhan, amo siya tistira daan. So, gimig mga globe. Globe na yun,
So gloves o shoes. Wala mo ilain sir na kanang goggles ana or
mag-goggles na may kung kuhan mo yun ay mag-silsil. Gamit niya kung may kuhantil yung silsil o so ito mag-silsil. Lubong na ito. Halita yung lubong. So, haya pa yung magamit ng tools. Pero kuhan lang, kanang different na kuhan, kuhan ng gloves lang.
Nana mo yung mga instances sir na makulang ang disgrasya or sinay ito?
far sa amo nga sa electrical wa pa man kay before mo mag-start sa among trabaho is mag-toolbox meeting. So sa among toolbox meeting gikuan gina ang safety yun before magkuan sa trabaho.
So kanang mga safety na gipangin sa seminar sir, nakapansin mo na always good siya ginatuman or
always good
na
siya.
times na dili ka katuman.
Sometimes siguro kanang dali kanang di na gyud siya makuan pero amo ginagi-encourage sa among mga kaubansan sa among electrical. Mas kuan gyud delikado gamay siya kurintibi siya. Di mo siya makita.
So may uban na mga work hazardous na ito
Ang sagan yun mga hazardous nga mga kanong kanang mga open wiring. Kita yung mga wire.
nadagan diri sa school.
Na siya kanang mo siya kita sa amo lang kanang once ka kita nga wire. Buta lang yun sa mga una nga nana si kurinti live na siya. Kaya parang di ka kanang dili kami to magkumpiyansa pilitan lang nimo. May big na dito siya kanang saman.
That's all for our show.
And we hope you enjoyed and learned a lot from today's episode.
This is JM.
And this is Louise, and we're signing off. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Health and safety in the workplace. Common causes of injuries. Number 1 is slips and trips. Slips and trips are the most common cause of injury at work. Control measures. Number 1, post signs of standard housekeeping procedures. Number 2, give frequent reminders on proper and adequate housekeeping. Number 3, always keep the floors clean and dry. Number 4, place caution boards on wet and hazardous areas. Number 5, clear off spillages and objects immediately. Lastly, ensure floor to be of rough texture. Number 2 is falls. Common causes include falls from ladders and through fragile surfaces. What must we do to avoid falls? Number 1, most of the work on the ground as possible. Number 2, proper quality and adequate quantity of materials and equipment used. Number 3, proper and durable ladders and rails upon elevating or climbing. 4, standard precautions in fragile areas. Number 5, use of appropriate personal protective equipment. And 6, consider emergency evacuation and rescue procedures. Our don'ts: Number 1, overloading and overreaching on stairs or ladders. Number 2, resting ladders against weak surfaces, examples, glazing or plastic gutters. Number 3, using ladders for strenuous or heavy tasks. Number 4, allowing incompetent employees to work at heights. Third would be hearing damage. Noise at work can cause hearing damage that is permanent and disabling. This can be gradual from exposure to noise over time, but damage can also be caused by sudden, extremely loud noises. We control noise by using choir equipment or a different choir process. 2. Engineering or technical controls to reduce at source the noise produced by a machine or process. Number 3. Using screens, barriers, enclosures, and absorbent materials to reduce the noise on its path to the people exposed. Number 4. Designing and laying out of the workplace to create a quiet workstation. And lastly, limiting the time people spend in noisy areas. So what will happen if you will not wear PPE? The risk of acquiring eye injuries, cut injuries, facial injuries, and amputation increases. Control measures would be: wear appropriate personal protective equipment. Fifth, most common cause of injuries in the workplace would be sprains and strains by not lifting correctly and not using appropriate lift assistive devices. Engineering controls entails proper utilization of ergonomic techniques and tools to maintain optimal joint positions, eliminate or reduce awkward postures with ergonomic modifications that seek to maintain joint range of motion to accomplish work tasks within the mid-range of motion positions for vulnerable joints. 6 is harmful substances, penetration, and inhalation. Many materials or substances used or created at work could harm your health. These substances could be dusts, gases, or fumes that you breathe in, or liquids, gels, or powders that come into contact with your eyes or skin. Control measures would be identifying harmful or potentially harmful substances in the workplace. We determine exposure mechanisms and their harmful effects, compliance with standard preventive measures and its effectiveness, and we provide information to workers and employees. Physical or personal protective equipment. Personal protective equipment, commonly referred to as PPE, is equipment worn to minimize exposure to a variety of hazards. Examples of PPE include such items as gloves, foot and eye protection, protective hearing devices such as earplugs, muffs, hard hats, respirators, and full body suits. So why wear a PPE? The purpose of personal protective equipment is to reduce employee exposure to hazards when engineering and administrative controls are not feasible or effective to reduce the risk to acceptable levels. These are the indications for using eye and face protection. of potential eye and face injuries. These are the most common types of eye and face protection. You have safety spectacles, goggles, welding shields, laser safety goggles, and face shields. These are the indications for head protection. The indications for wearing foot and leg protections are as follows. The indication for wearing foot and or leg protection are as follows. Potential hazards from not wearing hand and arm protection. And the protective equipment include your gloves, finger guards, arm coverings or elbow-length gloves. It is important to use body protection because workplace hazards which may cause bodily injuries include temperature extremes, hot splashes from molten metals and other hot liquids, potential impacts from tools, machinery and materials, hazardous chemicals. And body protection equipment include laboratory coats, coveralls, vests, jackets, aprons, surgical gowns, and full body suits. Protective body equipment according to material used are as follows. These are the indications for wearing hearing protection. And the types of hearing protection include single-use earplugs, preformed or molded earplugs, and ear muffs. First aid. For eye safety, the common eye hazards include common injuries include, and the first aid for eye injuries, if there are specks in the eye, number 1, do not rub the eye. Flush the eye with large amounts of water and see a doctor if the speck does not wash out or if pain or redness continues. For cuts, punctures, and foreign objects in the eye, 1 must not wash out the eye. Number 2, do not try to remove a foreign object stuck in the eye and seek immediate or medical attention. For chemical burns, immediately flush the eye with water or any drinkable liquid. Open the eye as wide as possible. Continue flushing for at least 15 minutes. For caustic or basic solutions, continue flushing while on the way to the medical care. If a contact lens is in the eye, begin flushing over the lens immediately. Flushing may dislodge the lens, and seek immediate medical attention. Blows to the eye. Apply a cold compress without pressure or tape crushed ice in a plastic bag to the forehead and allow it to rest gently on the injured eye. Seek immediate medical attention if pain continues, if vision is reduced, or if blood or discoloration appears in the eye. So how do we properly treat workplace wounds? First, we must identify the type of wound, and these are the types of wound. We have abrasion, we have cut, laceration, and avulsion. So the first thing we should do is stop the bleeding. Put pressure directly on the wound with sterile gauze or other bandage, coupled with elevating the wound above heart level. This should stop the bleeding within 15 minutes. Clean the wound. Once bleeding has stopped, wash the adjacent skin with soap and water and apply diluted hydrogen peroxide to remove crusted blood. If bleeding starts during the treatment, reapply pressure. Repair or bandaging. Coat the inner side of the dressing bandage material with an antibiotic cream. Cover the wound with such dressing, extending about ½ inch beyond the wound, enough to cover the wound completely and to allow room to affix the dressing to uninjured skin. The bandage should not be too loose, able to move around, or not too tight, impairing circulation. For broken bone or fractures, encourage the person to support the injury with their hand or use a cushion or item of clothing to prevent unnecessary movement. As soon as possible, call for help. Continue supporting the injury until help arrives. Thank you.